Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to Bat Force Radio, the Batman/DC podcast with no limits, coming to you as we continue to kick off season 11 of Bat Force Radio. Tonight on the panel, I got Grandpa Batman over in Texas.
Howdy.
I got Jesus over in Jersey.
Go Big Blue.
Big Blue. On the Bat Force Times over in New York. And man, we got a fucking weird one for you tonight. Man, I've been looking forward to covering this book for a while. It's been out for a little while. Heard the name for a while. Tonight we're going to be reviewing Batman Reptilian by Garth, Ennis, and Liam Sharp. Gramps, do you want to do a quick background on the creative team?
Okay, yeah, sure. Garth Ennis, he's known for his original works as, I guess, the creator of The Preacher that he did with artist Steve Dillon. He did some Punisher. It was a pretty long run that he did with Punisher. He created The Boys, which is now that TV series.
This guy's a heavy hitter.
He has a resume. One thing of note is that he's Northern Irish. So, as we'll see in this book, some of that plays into, I guess, some of the vernacular and vocabulary and characterization of some of the characters. Liam Sharp is another longtime comic creator. Looks like he made his debut in the 80s working for 2000 AD, just like Jock did, that we covered in our last episode, Batman One Dark Knight. He's done a lot of Judge Dredd stories. He's also done a lot of work on like X-Men and Hulk, Spider-Man, Venom, Man-Thing. He has done some DC work, including Superman and Batman, and also Spawn, The Dark Ages with Todd McFarlane. So both of these guys are long-time career comic creators. I don't know much about how they teamed up for this one, but I think it was one of those situations where Garth Ennis sought Liam Sharp out after his original artist that he won for the book was no longer available, and that was Steve Dillon. So Steve Dillon unfortunately passed away, and Liam Sharp took over the project and actually dedicated this to Steve Dillon.
So this was a long time in coming, and it sounded like it was originally pitched for Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. If I'm not mistaken. There's some extras in the hardcover in the back, but yeah, it looks like this is one that he really wanted to get out. And I guess I do want to set the tone for going over the story, reviewing it, in a sense that it feels as if it lives in the Grant Morrison Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth universe. You could actually probably read this right after reading that book, and it would feel right in the same continuity. The tone is the same. A lot of the imagery and the art style is reminiscent of, I believe his name was Dave McKean, who, his artwork was portrayed in Arkham Asylum, and there's a lot of Bill Sienkiewicz nods in here too, with the Batman silhouettes, the long, elongated shadow of Batman with the ears. They're just Sienkiewicz all the way. So there's a lot of nods in here to that tone and style of storytelling. And
Yeah.
that's why I was really excited about this book.
Right.
And I kind of had a little bit of an idea what it would be about, reptilian croc imagery. But man, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like,
You know, I was kind of just thinking by the comment you just made too. Like, if this could have been an earlier pitch for, another book for Batman, maybe it was on ice for so long that once they came out with Black Label, they kind of felt that it was appropriate to finally release the story, right? Now they have that platform to really not hold back, because if this was released 15, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it probably would have been way too taboo and abstract, right?
maybe. I mean, you got to think about it. You had Killing Joke. Well, let's see. What year are we in now? Actually, fucking hell. The late
2026.
80s, late 80s was like fucking 40 something years ago. Jesus Christ. You said 30 years ago. That would be like in the mid 90s, which
90s,
is
yeah.
still
So we gotta,
later than the 80s when you had the Killing Joke, Dark Knight Returns, and Arkham Asylum. So yeah, but then again, even in the 90s you had that spooky Kelly Jones stuff. But this is really Morrison-esque. I know, there was a big nod to Alan Moore in this as well, right? He was well, what did you say, Gramps? He was one of the influences of Garth Ennis, or?
Yeah, I think in his bio he mentions Alan Moore being an influence. So
yeah,
you got some of the. He takes a lot of abstract ideas and ties them into his themes in his writing.
Yeah, I mean those Irish English creators, they definitely like they like their deeper surreal fever dream sense of storytelling. I'm telling you, if you read Arkham Asylum and then you read Reptilian, it's a natural flow. It really is a natural flow. And it's just so weird. Like you really just don't know what to expect, because even in the beginning of the story, Batman is in front of City Hall, and he's
Courthouse,
the courthouse. He's approaching I don't know what's this guy is, Edgar Lachario. Is he a fight? I think he's a fighter or something.
He's a boxer that apparently has been accused of raping two women and used his wealth and basically leaned on these women to retract their stories. And it opens up where the attorneys, making this, big presentation like they do outside of courthouses when they win a case, and talking about, how his victim or his client was a victim, and they're going to turn around and, sue Gotham City, and someone from the back of the crowd asks him a question and starts approaching him, and it's Batman. And he's just walking through the crowd.
Yep.
And he just literally walks up to the guy and just calls him a coward to his face.
Yeah, he baits him where the guy follows to throw a punch, which Batman dodges, and then I guess takes him down pretty good, and then walks away. Calls it self-defense. Yeah, for the record, this Batman is fucking savage in this book, man. He is a fucking savage, and this just.
I feel like that's why they put Batman in this situation, because they wanted to introduce the tempo and the mannerism of the Batman that we're about to see in this story, right? He doesn't give a fuck. He goes right in front of this boxer's face and just gives no care, right? Because
that would make sense.
Because this is not really a big part of the story. Because in my head, when I saw this scene, I started connecting dots. Oh, this guy's really gonna, he's gonna be plugged into this story, and maybe the idea of the reptilian is linked to this guy. But you kind of just have this moment at this point, right?
Yeah, this is almost unnecessary at this point. So I feel like maybe it just sets a tone for the way Batman does business. This Batman, he's just right straight to business, pretty much, and he doesn't really hold back. That's for sure. I mean, he's on that cool throne in the Batcave, high tech. Got Alfred with the duster. What are we leaning into?
He picks up information about an attack, like a 911 distress call, and it mentions.
He starts talking about like Mad Hatter and
the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, how they were kind of how their
Tiger
bodies
Woods.
how their bodies were kind of found disformed and stuff, and they were like put into these weird positions, right? So he wants to go investigate, so he automatically kind of just jumps into the Batmobile and kind of just leaves Alfred and starts investigating that scene because these rogues are just slayed and just torn apart and put into these weird contorted spots.
Now, this is our first glimpse of this Alfred in this story. And, you know, as he's getting ready to leave, he reminds Bruce that he's got an appointment with some underprivileged children coming to Wayne Manor. And he's like, well, you know, you can figure that out. You can handle that, can't you? And Alfred says something so horrible. He says, and the fumigation afterward, I suppose. I was like, what?
The writing. There's some raw writing in this one.
This almost seems like, you know, when did this book come out? It came out about 4 years ago.
2022.
Yeah, this seems like it was actually, you know, if Steve Dillon was the intended artist for this book, this was written probably 12, 13 years ago, because I mean he passed away in 2016. So I don't know if they updated the writing, but man, I was shocked. I was like, well, Alfred, that's pretty mean to say about some kids. Anyway, continue.
I mean, the artwork is all over the place. There's some super detailed, like the one when he's on the street with the Batmobile or outside the bar, and then later on you see some looser illustration. It's just,
I like that imagery where the Batmobile's going through the streets. I mean, because you could tell it's like rainy and dreary, and the color tones show it, you know, make it feel at night, but still it's lit up. It's Gotham, and some of the lights reflect off the street, cable wires hanging across the street, and he's just, you know, out there on patrol by himself.
Yeah.
This was definitely a very abstract, armoried looking Batmobile. Like I try to really like look at the details, and it was hard to kind of see where the inspirations came from, right?
Yeah, sometimes it looks like it changes.
Yeah,
you know?
like it kind of has this waviness, organic, but very steel. But it's kind of like it's very techy too. As you really read the story, you kind of see like the raw tech, and it has this kind of like AI technology going on after, which I thought was kind of cool. That the Batmobile is kind of its own character in this book.
Right.
Yeah, it shows, especially later on in the story, with the role that it plays.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. But Batman's trying to find the source, right? To find out where this.
Yeah, he's trying to find some information. So he goes to this bar that he knows some of the goons hang out at, and he's fishing for information. Primarily, someone named Konstantin Volkov.
Yeah, Volkov.
Volkov. I kind of think that they chose that name just to kind of say it that way. Volkov. Yeah.
Volkov.
Yeah, and so he finds the source on the rooftop, and he's trying to figure out what went down with the paint.
Well, I think Volkov was like Riddler's number 2 henchman, basically like his Bob from Batman 89.
Yeah.
And trying to find out what went down, what could have done this. He doesn't offer him much information, so he just basically goes to the next alternative and almost throws him off the side of the building and basically tells him, choose your words carefully about what you're about to tell me next, because that could be a big difference between whether you're walking away from this or not.
And then the humorous part is, Volkov just reminds him, "Oh, Batman doesn't kill, right? We're good."
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he was explaining how it was a massacre.
This opening scene kind of sets the tone with how the book kind of rolls out, right? Because once you get introduced to like all the rogues, they're all kind of in the same situation, right?
Yeah, and he pretty much explains how everyone was just getting frustrated with each other and turning on each other rather quickly during this meet, and how it was odd and really abrupt, where tempers just flared out of nowhere, as if they were just ready to kill each other for very little reasons.
There was one interesting piece of information that Volkov tells him about. This is a monthly meeting of the rogues, and Batman already knows about it. He's like, oh yeah, they get together about once a month and try to plan how to kill me, but I quit listening to them after a while because I realized they could never come to agreement. So he basically tells Volkov in a way that I need you to go work for Joker and be my mole and get information from me, because already you can tell that he suspects somebody or something. Two of his rogues have been already kind of eliminated and taken off the game. So the next best option is put somebody in for one of the active players, and he thinks it's Joker because Joker was at that meeting and was kind of the one that instigated the altercation with Penguin.
Yep. And that's when he goes and tries to locate the Penguin. I guess he finds a really damaged Penguin when he goes back to investigate.
These expression shots that they zoom in on him are just so abstract and just over the top, right? Like they show this frontal view of his nose, and you can really sense the fear that he's going through with Batman, right down to like the trickling tear and how Batman is holding him. Like these perspectives are they're kind of over the top humorous, but I feel like it's never been done before, right? It kind of feels like a Salvador Dali style painting, because you can really see like through the emotions of his eyes as well, right? That's like a big kind of style that they try to carry throughout the book.
Yeah. I like the detective work involved as well, when he's telling the Penguin that he's going to take a sample of his blood and recite the alphabet backwards if you don't consent, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then when they're back at the lab, he kind of it's kind of traced back to someone like the great white shark.
Yeah, he's doing some tests, and he takes some blood samples from I think the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And
then he sees like a trace of like estrogen, right?
Yeah. And it's talking about how in this species doesn't care for human flesh. Most attacks are just mistaken. It's almost because he's trying to piece together how whatever's hunting them, it's almost as if it's for sport. They get bored after the initial bite doesn't do anything for them.
Well, it's also almost as if it's not looking to kill them.
Yeah.
He compares it to how a great white shark or a shark sometimes, a lot of times when they attack, it's not because they're trying to eat something. They're testing to see what that is, and they'll bite and then let go. And Alfred has, again, they have this conversation here that's very, I don't know, it's just abrasive in a way. And so Alfred even calls him out. Heaven forbid, airborne sharks on the loose in Gotham do go on. Bruce says something like, that's just silly. And Alfred says, I certainly hope so. Severing the spine of a huge marine predator might be beyond you. And there's the question of how the beast fits in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And
No,
Bruce is like,
just-
oh, we're still talking about this. Like, I guess that circles back to apparently Bruce severed the spine of that boxer dude when he took him out and left him as a
ugh,
quadriplegic. So Alfred is chastising him in a way.
yeah.
And it took me a while to realize what that conversation was about. And it kind of took me out of the story because I was like, what's he talking about? Where does he see
That's a good
something
point.
about a wheelchair and all this? And then I had to go back and read this again. And I was like, oh, he's talking about the boxer.
Yeah, they definitely have Alfred's British humor down packed. Takes the Brits north. And but it's funny when Bruce is doing the blood samples, and then Alfred offers him prosciutto and omelet tomato juice. Artwork. Some of the artwork looks like photography, and then there's illustration. Then it's painterly. This is a hell of a fever dream, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they switch it up a lot. It's
That's
kind of
everybody.
crazy that just one artist did everything, you know, like it kind of feels like there may have been two or three. So I guess he's definitely versatile and definitely has that kind of just high level of switching from painterly to his lighting. Like to me, like a lot of it kind of has that Lee Bermejo solarized feeling, and then all of a sudden it switches to like this really fever dream, and then it's like Bill Sienkiewicz with like the uses of the dripping colors and I guess it kind of just shows like the mindset of what's happening, right? Like if he's investigating, then it's a different series of just colors.
Mm.
Well, not only that, but it makes me wonder what medium is he using on some of these? Because, like you said,
Sure.
some of them it looks like he actually painted this with acrylic paint, and then some of them looks digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know, but it definitely evolves. We'll say that.
My guess is digital, especially with the level of detail, you know.
He meets back up with his source. I love when Batman tells him to stay useful. Like he's just using him the whole time. This is such a raw Batman. He is not. He's just he's getting the. He's doing what it takes to get the job done or to figure out what the fuck's going on.
He's
back in
driving the
Batmobile.
Batmobile basically looked like down into the sewers.
Man, I love those shots of him. Like, I guess it's inside the Batmobile. You have as if the Batmobile's talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's saying what's in proximity, active proximity, 123 meters. Or is that the radio? Or is he tuned into the police radio? I'm not sure.
No,
But I just all
that's
the
the car.
techiness. Yeah.
And then
All
it's
the
like
tech-
telling, what action should we take? And then he's like, 300 volts. Thank you. And it like
Yeah.
shocks all this massive crowd of people that are running towards the Batmobile.
Oh
And
yeah.
then-
Yeah.
And then, he gives orders. And as he gives orders, the car thanks him every time. And then one of the people comes up and says, we're not after you. We're trying to get away from.
Yeah.
And about that time, the car picks up something on the radar up ahead
Mm.
that it's large and it's coming closer.
And one page, the headlights look like eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and the bottom of the grill looks like a mouth smiling. And I guess he's at Bootlegger Tunnel. And he finds Freeze, but Freeze is hanging upside down as if the Predator got him. And that Freeze face is hilarious. That is one of the most interesting Mr. Freeze renditions I've ever seen. He looks so fucking scared.
Well, and then he's like, it broke my arms and my legs.
Yeah.
And
His
basically,
helmet's
just left him
cracked
hanging.
too. He wouldn't last that long because his
Yeah,
helmet's
he'd be dead. He'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the most pathetic you've ever seen him, right? He's just
Yeah. Were
pure
they
fear.
hiding?
He's mangled.
Sounds like they were hiding because he says, we thought we were safe here. We had 30 men all armed. It sounds like they were trying to hide this out. Because I think Ivy is in this.
Yeah, Ivy's there, and he even asked her, have you been scalped? Because, I mean,
Yeah.
she's just been mutilated.
Yeah.
And
And you know what's funny? Freeze and Ivy are technically metahumans as well. One some of the few Gotham City rogues that are actually metahumans, and they got fucked up by this thing. So this is big horror tones going on right now. Detective tones / horror tones. Batmobile says analysis. Now, when you guys read the Batmobile talk, communicating, do you have that voice in your head from the Dark Knight when you remember before he pops out of the Batmobile with the one wheel that turns into the Batpod motorcycle?
I think it's Knight Rider.
Goodbye, Knight Rider. Wasn't it Mr. Feeney? Knight Rider was Mr. Feeney, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, it just makes you think why they don't do that more often, right? Like you expect with all that technology that Batman would kind of use it. Well, I guess actually when he's usually in the Batmobile, he'll be talking to Alfred instead, so that's why we see that more.
So Batman is he's already putting some clues together, and there's two of the goons that were involved in all this stuff that he finds out they were actually from the first meet, and then they just signed up to be with Freeze's gang, and he tells them that it wasn't necessarily after you, but you were marked, and you need to get out of Gotham by nightfall. Yeah. There's a giant monster on the loose, and if it doesn't get you, I will. So he's already thinking that whatever's doing this is not human.
Yeah, and then he reaches back out to Volkov to locate the Joker's whereabouts, leading into the next one. So Batman's on the trail for the Joker and Killer Croc right now. And my guess is he's already took samples from everyone else that has been affected by this. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I guess Deadshot was in it. A couple of others. Hugo Strange, Two-Face. Now he's looking for Croc and the Joker.
So that image that he had on that back computer of Croc is like a very large, intimidating Croc. And do you guys realize this is the second straight story that we reviewed that has Croc in it?
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be the season of Croc.
Yeah, Croc is getting these mixtapes out recently.
But
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc. Killer.
He suspects that Croc is obviously involved in this because he's got the strength and kind of seems animalistic in a way what's happening. And Croc was at the first meet, but this is where kind of starts the story, in my opinion, starts turning, because he's having a conversation with Alfred about Croc's origins. Where did he come from? Why is he like this? Is he a human, or is he an animal? What is he?
Yeah.
And Alfred basically says maybe he's something on his own.
His own species, right?
Or a hermaphrodite, right? Is that where he's both sexes? Yeah,
right.
I think they mentioned that earlier. So
because they tested, right? They came up with that like estrogen, and they linked it to like a lizard species, right? So that's when they were kind of linking it directly to Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Plus, he's one of the only ones that hasn't been torn apart yet.
Right. And it's really ironic, like you said, like that profile pic of him makes him so menacing and so over the top. And once you actually see his state, it's nowhere close to this depiction, right?
No.
he's kind of like Jabba the Hutt, right? He's just like on the floor. He has this like, he's beyond overweight, right? He's just like a blob, a lifeless form.
Yeah. So next, Batman's on the police scanner, and there's a all units bulletin about they've got a confirmation of Joker has taken 24 hostages at the Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, a nice touch too. The top of the botanical gardens, that solarium greenhouse type feel, where it reminds me of Batman the Animated Series, where Ivy used to dwell. And this was pretty cool too, because what's his name is actually getting texts in real time, right?
Yeah.
Volkov.
Volkov, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like on his own burner phone, and he's hooked up to like the bat phone, right? They have like
I was about to say,
they're like little text buddies.
So good. I love how much of a schmuck Volkov is. Like, just he's the guy caught in the middle. And he's telling them to, in 20 seconds, shoot 3 of them behind you in the legs. And he's like, seriously? And then it says, that's 10. So,
And then these goons are like harassing him, and then he's like, "Oh, it's my girlfriend's texting me. She could be a real bitch."
Oh, shit. And then Batman shows up. We're at the Botanical Gardens.
Batman shows up and he shoves something down some guy's throat.
Yeah, I saw it. It looked like a mutating vine or something. I don't know what the hell. Fucking weird. Fuck. And the illustration is very strange too at this point. It's like every page you turn, the art just changes in a different way.
Right.
And it keeps you moving. It's definitely a fever dream element to this.
So he asked Volkov, I was like, you've got Joker's phone number, basically, right? Or walkie-talkie, and wants to talk to him. And because Joker thinks that it's Batman that's doing all these mutilations and attacks on everybody. So Batman goes in to talk him out. He's got hostages. Batman's basically taking out the hostages, so he's showing Joker is like, you've got really nowhere to run. So why don't you just come on out?
And he comes out with that axe.
Yeah, he comes out with an axe.
And it's interesting because they both acknowledge that they don't know what the fuck is going on, which is
right.
Kind of interesting as well. There's a secret grotto.
Joker runs off into this. He takes a swing at him, and Batman just takes the axe away.
Yeah.
And Joker runs off into this secret grotto. Joker thinks it's like Batman that's making all these noises and grunts and groans in there. And Batman's basically like, whatever's in there with you, it's not me. And then you hear the scream.
Yeah, that I got thrown off there for a second because it happened so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is he screaming? And then the cop is in horror. And then the next thing you see him on a stretcher looking like a mummy.
Yeah, I definitely went back 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, did I miss like a page? Because there was just no connection that he just got ripped apart. There's no transition, right? It's just
nope. and ripped apart, recovered, bandaged up, and put on a stretcher.
And then they said he was going to. Then they said he was going straight to jail. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This guy's shredded in pieces, and they're like, they want to focus on the fact that he's going to jail.
Yeah, it looked like you'd be telling your jokes in the county slammer. Yeah. So how do you like my sense of humor? It's just that's fucking weird, man.
It's almost like, and if you look at it, the thing ripped his nose off.
Yeah, that's just so strange because there's such a gap. He got attacked. Where did this monster go? How did they recover the Joker? How did they bandage him up? Did they clear the perimeter? Like what? They just jumped right to him on the stretcher.
Like at this point, he looks like he got his whole face ripped off. Right?
Yeah,
like he
looks like Hush.
Yeah, like if you unwrapped him, he would probably just be raw muscle. Because you could just see his teeth and his eye sockets are just raw, right? They're like skeletal.
Ugh.
So definitely a little disconnect right here, but you just everything's assumed in the story, I guess.
Yeah, very strange. Very strange how they jumped the gun.
This is where I feel like the story started to really pick up for me, where like once he really starts meeting Croc, then you start really getting to like the nitty gritty of this whole thing, right?
Yeah, this is where the horror element really comes into play. before it was just detective work. Now it's like monstrous shit. So he's in the sewer, and then he locates Croc.
Well, he locates something. I don't know. That big splash page, I don't know what that is. It's almost like
like a cocoon.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know. And then you see Croc, and he looks like a first image of him. He kind of looks like a dragon, actually.
Well, that's what I'm so confused with the artist's iterations of this character, because it's like we get 3 different versions. We get the one in the Batcave, and then we get this one, and then as we keep going, I don't even know what he's drawing.
Yep. And so they really get into it. It's kind of like a sack of an offspring that came off him, right?
I think he's like hooked up to some type of like umbilical cord. That's what I kind of got, right?
Yeah.
Like that cord is hooked up to like a bigger membrane, probably obviously like the encasement of the offspring, and he's like lifeless at this point, right? I think he kind of says like it's pretty much poisoning him at this point.
Yeah, Batman's kind of cutting it off, and he's like fascinating. He's pretty calm for one of them living in a freaking horror story.
And Batman basically says, it's pretty obvious what happened here because Croc has no memory. He doesn't really know. And Batman's like, well, it's pretty obvious. You've just given birth.
Yep. And then he asks him if he has any milk. And he's like, what do you want me to go to the deli or something? Shit's crazy. And he's like, no one.
That's a weird question because it's almost like a leading question because, he's asking him if he's lactating, which is something a mammal does, which was something that a human would do. But Croc is kind of reptilian, in a lot of depictions, it's more of a skin disease, an affliction versus him actually being an animal. But that's one thing I like about Croc is I think this story tries to explore what is he, where did he come to, how did he come to be who he is and all this stuff.
Yeah, a little background story, especially about, I guess there was a spill or something and
in the 70s.
EPA was trying to clean it up and there were lawsuits and it was a big ordeal and he had an abusive aunt. Yeah, because they kind of go more into the backstory. Yeah, Croc's hot in the streets these days. And then he goes into explaining how this monster came to be and how it feeds and how it has this paternal instinct to keep reconnecting back to Croc.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he also talked about how when Croc went to that first meeting, unintentionally, but he marked everyone there at that meeting with a pheromone that his body was just releasing. And that creature has been following that scent.
It's kind of funny like when Batman starts asking, if he's lactating and you see Croc trying to like think and he's saying, well, that's not possible because my part is just like your part. Like he's just, not making this connection. He doesn't know what the fuck is happening. And
no. And Batman then explains to him that, this thing is following this scent because it's looking for its quote unquote mother, where it came from.
Right.
He has the scent for.
Yeah.
But it's following all the others that were marked. And when it doesn't find its originator, it lashes out and basically has a tantrum and just slaughters them.
Right. Just back to that connection of like that great white, right? That like parallel that it's curious, it attacks and just keeps it moving, right? Because that's not the solution of what he's looking for.
Right.
And then he starts questioning Croc. He's like, oh, maybe you're hermaphrodite. Maybe your species allows you to kind of change your gender based on like your mating cycle and stuff like that. He's trying to figure this out. And then it gets more abstract, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So now Croc is like, okay, now what do we do about this?
Right.
Because I didn't expect this, and this is where Batman says, "This is where you say hello to Junior," and we meet this massive, like 8-legged winged monster that is just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, 4 eyes, a couple of sets of teeth. Just disgusting, really. Extraterrestrial, like this is, it just gets monstrous. You know, it was funny because I thought for a second that there might be a twist, and I don't know, maybe it was something that was just infecting someone and making them go crazy. But if you went into the story blindly, and then you're at this part, and then this fucking monster appears, you're like, holy shit! You know, I thought, you know, it could have went a couple of different ways, but this thing is disgusting.
I mean, there's definitely a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that one scene came, I was like, what the fuck are we reading? Like, what is happening here? You know,
this is where it's almost like they have to or feel the need to inject a little bit of humor into this thing, because they're standing before this creature and it's not attacking them. It's actually licked kind of in a loving way, and it says mama. I mean, it verbalizes the word mama. And Batman and Croc is looking back at Batman like, what am I supposed to do? And Batman's like, well, don't look at me. Go on, suckle it.
Batman don't give a fuck.
Suckle it. My God.
And then he's like, give it what it really needs. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. This book was good. This is where this
shit got weird.
Mm-hmm.
It has wings and everything, like Cthulhu. And
how about the one scene where they're like showing her puckering up, and they gave her like lipstick, like Greta from Gremlins? Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy.
Yeah, I think they were just trolling at that point.
I mean, it's actually beyond funny, but I'm just like, yeah, this is getting
it looks
really
like a xenomorph. It looks like a xenomorph, from Aliens. Xenomorph.
And you can definitely see his like his inspiration, right, from him working on those books.
Well, you mentioned that panel where it has the DSLs, and in the page before that, the creature's turned away from him and is kind of like hunching over, and Croc is like, why is it doing that? Why is it bending over like that? And Batman, he's just like analyzing. He says, interesting. I think it wants you to impregnate it. I was like, what in the world am I reading here? And you got to know Croc's mind is just going crazy at this point. He even draws him where like one eye looks like it's just like just a black hole, just going, what in the world? This can't be happening. I want to wake up.
It kind of lunges at them. And every panel with this creature, it looks like it's just different, like it's transforming and mutating or changing its structure. It's so strange. Even the color changes. It's green now, it's yellow, it's brown. This is a fever dream. Wingspan is bigger than...
And this is the second straight book where Croc is like very intelligent and speaks very well. He's not just some big beast.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, well, it's very much different than other stories that I've read with him. where he's not.
It's almost like the almost got him episode in Batman the Animated Series where Croc is like, and then I hit him with a rock. And that was it. Meanwhile, it was Batman the whole time. You know, I do like what one line that comes out of this while everything's going on when referring to this beast. And it says, all alone in an alien world, which is pretty poetic because this beast looks like an alien or an extraterrestrial, but the world is alien to the beast. So
right, and that's where I think if we rewind a little bit in the story, Batman basically tells Croc his origin about whatever it was that contaminated the swamp and stuff like that, and he says something about a human infected with alien DNA. So Croc is kind of a hybrid as a result of whatever landed in that swamp and did that stuff. And this thing that spawned out of him is kind of, basically an alien.
With a little mix of human, he was kind of saying as well, right? So
right.
This creature is just everything. It's all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you get that fig, Gramps?
No. No, I wouldn't.
It would be a McFarlane build your own. It would have to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite parts in the book is when we go back to the messaging with Kolvok, whatever his name is, and the text is reading out. Man, I just hate waiting. What do you want me to do? Are you using me as bait? And then he's like, "Don't be ridiculous. I'm trying to protect you. You're important, Volkov." And I like how the text messages are on an angle now. That's a really cool technique that they did with this book, apparently. You could be the key to this whole thing. A vehicle will arrive outside your building very soon. Get in and don't touch anything. Once you're inside, you'll be safe. And then he goes, "You have to be kidding." And it pretty much ends with saying, "Okay, I lied. I am using you as bait." Once he gets him in the car, that was so good. Oh, that's the Batman I love. He gets him in the Batmobile, and it's pretty cool because this thing has protective protocols with voltage and just it can take a hit from the tank, so it pretty much lures the guy. Wait, so what's his name? He's marked, right? Is that what's going on as well?
Yeah, he
that's
is
why
well.
the thing's going after him. Yeah.
And I love the fact that Volkov gets in the Batmobile. He's going crazy. He's wanting out. It shocks him, and Alfred is in the Batcave looking at these images of this dude that's been fried inside the Batmobile, and he's like, "Oh my." So, I mean, even like Alfred throughout this book is just questioning Bruce's motives and the way he's been handling everything.
So funny. The guy's screaming for help in the Batmobile while the creature's outside, and he's screaming, "Batman, you're a monster. You're worse than any of them. You're a monster." And Alfred goes, "I'm sure he's already informed you of that himself."
Right.
Man.
And then, if it wasn't already weird enough, so the creature's flown off and it's going out and it's hunting Volkov or whoever, and Batman and Croc are escaping out of the sewer, and they walk out, and there's this crowd of people that are bird watching.
Yeah. Fucking weird.
What in the world?
And they look fucking weird, and
they look like somebody that's on like a Hobbit adventure or something. I don't know.
That was so strange. And then Croc refers to them as nerds. Fucking crazy. So that this creature swooping back in. Well, the
Croc
Batmobile
isn't
pulls
even
up.
intimidating one bit in this whole book.
Not at all, which is crazy. And Batman already has this idea that he's going to put that little breathing device on his mouth and then just plunge into the monster's mouth to actually get inside it.
Yeah, when I saw that panel, I was like, "Oh my god, they're not doing this again." I mean, how many times have you seen that done in a movie where they like, "I'll go inside the beast and kill it from the inside out"? I don't know. I did not like
that. That was the big finisher, right? You're like, okay.
I was like, how many more pages are left in this one? Oh, I got a whole nother issue. Oh God.
Yeah. And then the Batmobile ejects Cole. Yeah, what the fuck is going on? Like that face is, oh my god. You gotta throw that one up in they're just this, oh god. It's like when you put your mouth on glass and then blow into it and your face blows up. Just what the fuck? Like the humor in this is hilarious. But then there's an explosion. So what the hell explodes? Was it the Batmobile? Like you see this monster, and you see flames everywhere.
Well, yeah, he's leading the Batmobile from the inside and putting it on its self-destruct sequence.
Yeah,
and he's aiming it at the beast,
which is kind of clever, actually. The beast takes that impact, falls down. Then you eventually see Batman cut through the beast to get out. Gramps loves that shit. Fucking inside the belly of the beast. And I guess when he gets out, there's a lot of rage with Cole. I guess because the pheromones are kicking in and making him rage out. And he's calling Batman a monster, a psychopath, a pig.
Dude, he's like kicking Batman in the face and taking his shot now.
Yeah.
It was the adrenaline.
Yeah. And, in classic horror trope, while he's doing this, behind him, the beast has 1 ounce of life left, and it's coming to get him. And Batman says to him, "You're marked."
Yep. And Batman actually says that you're right, the Batman never kills Volkov, but things have a way of happening anyway. So that's pretty gruesome.
So did it kill him?
I don't know, because I wouldn't be surprised, because
no,
when you go back to the way Joker ended up in that stretcher out of nowhere, I kind of feel like, well, maybe this is one of those cases where something happened and it just jumped forward a little too much.
This is what I was confused about. I mean,
he looked pretty fucked up when you look at the last panel of Cole.
They should have had the grand finale where he was just severed in half and just taken in one last time.
Yeah, because I don't understand what happened here. Batman says, "You're marked." Turn the page. I'm afraid you're beyond help. And then it looks like the beast fell on him. I don't know. Who knows?
But then the government swoops in and takes the creature. I guess they want to, engineer it to an extent to use it as some kind of super predator weapon, as a military asset. And the guy in the glasses kind of has a Tom Selleck thing going on. The mustache. And they're having a chat. What did they say with Croc? Croc's locked up too. They're gonna poke and prod Croc as well. Batman don't give a fuck. Batman's like, you got to pay your due now.
Well, Batman's basically telling him, it's possible that this could happen again.
Yeah,
it's possible you may actually be a female, or on the way to be.
Yeah,
perhaps in some kind of hermaphroditic phase, and you may have another one of these. So we're gonna put
What's
you
that?
away.
What's he pouring into that canister from that canister in the bat lab?
Oh, there was a scene earlier where he was driving away and he opened his canister to pour some drink in a cup and it was empty. So Alfred had not filled it up with coffee. And then earlier in the story, when him and Alfred finally start to kind of work together to figure out the pieces, I guess in a way they made up, and Alfred actually put some coffee in his canisters for him.
That's funny.
So a little back and forth between them too, some interplay between Bruce and Alfred.
Reminds me of the chicken soup part from that
Right.
Heart of Ice episode of Batman anime series. But, in the final scene, you do have Croc locked up. You almost come to really feel for Croc in this one. In a way, he really didn't do anything wrong in this story. They didn't show, and you do kind of feel for him. I mean, that other monster made Croc look like a little teddy bear, to be honest with you.
The only thing he did wrong was he went to the first meetup with all the rogues as a way to plan to kill Batman. And in a way, he actually kind of helped Batman kind of put the rogues on ice for a while.
Right, by marking them.
It's funny because when the last page, they show Croc locked up, and then you have that little word bubble box saying, "Find out in the next exciting installment," I suppose. So that made me wonder if there was going to be a continuation of this or not. But I haven't come across anything that suggests that. Maybe it was just wording their part.
Yeah, they kind of kept it open for a potential sequel.
Yeah, sequel. Man, that was fucking weird.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That was weird. Oh man, and I like weird. This one caught me off guard. This one, I kind of felt I didn't know what to expect, but thinking about what the covers look like and the title, I thought it was going to be a underwater sewer Killer Croc story, But this is just fucking weird. But I guess we could discuss that on the round table. So I guess we'll do out of 5 Louis. So, goddamn Louis. So Gramps, out of 5 Louis, how many Louis do you give it and why? And what did it gain points for? What did it lose points for? I'm curious.
Well, this is kind of like eating Chipotle. I mean, at first it seems like a great idea, but then after 2 days, when you still can't trust a fart, you're like, I don't know if that was a good idea. This book was all over the place. It started out really cool. I liked it that there was this big mystery going on and things were happening and Batman's in detective mode, and there was this killer on the loose that was unlike anything that he's ever faced before, and he's putting the pieces together. But then all of a sudden, in about issue 4 or 5 and 6, I don't know. When I saw that lipstick on that thing, I was like, what in the world are we reading here? It's almost like, I don't know. And I personally, and this is just my opinion, okay? Just some of the things that Batman, the way he spoke, and even some of the way that Alfred, their characterizations, to me, it never took me out of the writer's head. I just kept hearing them in his voice, not as Batman, not as Alfred, in a way. And that really took me out of the story. There was just some phrases that Batman was saying. And I was like, he would never say that. That's what someone from the UK would say.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know. I hate to be harsh. I love the art for most of it, except for the lipstick scene. You're very correct in the fact that, you know, this fits easily right there with Arkham Asylum. But then there's also some inconsistencies with how Croc was drawn and all this. I don't know, man. I hate to be negative, but I'd give this a 1.
Holy shit!
I don't.
One out of 5 Louis. Goddamn.
I don't think I'll pick this book up again.
I don't think he's ever gave a 1 Louis before. Even Louis will had to wake up for that. Like,
there's nowhere for this to go for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it starts off with a weird story about Batman taking on a boxer in the very beginning that has nothing to do with the story. Other than the fact that the only thing I think of is maybe one of them is a boxing fan. They're like, hey, Batman versus boxer, let's make it happen. Okay. And then the fact that Batman does that right out in the open in public, that's not his style. He would never do that in front of a crowd.
That's true. That's a good point.
I don't know. So to me, I hate to be harsh. Sorry, Garth. Sorry, Liam, but it's just a 1 for me.
Damn, 1 Louis. That's oh shit. Oh shit.
I'm trying to keep it real.
That was
that's authentic. You know, this is what we're here for. You know, this is the juice. You know, this is the juice has to be worth the squeeze. Gramps always said. Gramps always said you got to give a little due to get a little due. And Gramps' saying is this book didn't give much due.
He said this book was.
So it's not going to get that much due.
This book was just doo-doo, he said.
Oh, shit. I've never heard him go that low before. This is crazy. This is historic. Season 11's nuts. Well, what about you, T, man?
Jeez, you know, now that I'm hearing Gramps' review, I'm like, man, it sounds like mine is a little very, very generous.
Yeah.
I was swaying between 3 and 3.5, but you know, Gramps had some valid points. I think for me, I'm gonna put this dead center as a 3. And I think my perspective is a little different from Gramps, where I agree the beginning was definitely discombobulated. It just did not have this like rhythm of a buildup. But for me, from a story, I felt like once it hit issue 4 to 6, then it kind of had a flow and it was consistent. And I started getting into the story. I like the fact that they tapped into like the origin of Croc, because now it got me really interested in the character even more. Like, hey, what else can we see from this character, right? Like,
that's a Louis point right there. Yeah.
Right. But in the beginning, you know, the fact that these rogues just went down instantly, that was kind of deflating, right? It's just because it just happened over and over and over. You know, Riddler's down, Penguin's down, Mr. Freeze, like you said, looked very abstract, right? It looked like I don't even know. I can't even describe what he looked like.
But do you give an extra point for the guy getting ejected from the seat and his mouth blowing up?
No.
Volkov.
Gramps, will you get a Volkov figure?
Absolutely.
He's like Volkov out.
It comes with the cell phone accessory.
It comes with the burner phone.
Right.
The text message says, yes, you are bait.
So I guess I'm being generous. I'll give it a 3. The storyline was inconsistent. I felt myself in the earlier issues going back, especially when he spoke with Joker. I felt like there was such a disconnect, and I found myself kind of going back and forth, and all the way down to the fact where Bat Force Times, when you said that Joker screamed and then all of a sudden he's laid out and mummy wrapped. I'm just like, did I miss something? It was when you're reading these books with the visuals, you're supposed to enjoy it, right? You're supposed to take the story and it's supposed to take you. And it was so much stop and go. And it did make sense until really probably the fourth issue. So that was kind of a turnoff, right? The artwork was cool, but again, it just had these breaks and visual breaks. So if the story's not going to be good, the artwork should kind of take you through the story. And I felt like they were both doing that at the same time. It was two broken visuals, and the words were broken, and it was a bit of a mess, right?
Yeah.
Would it be interesting to kind of hear about a sequel? Maybe, right? Because you're questioning, like, well, is Killer Croc going through his cycle where he could naturally just give birth by default, or was it because of these other elements that that made him give birth? So I'll give it a dead 3. I think it's kind of a one and done for sure.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
It definitely made me also question some of the choices that the editor allowed. There was certain parts where I'm just like, man, a more experienced editor may have told them to take the story and focus it here or here or here. And I'm not trying to bash anybody, but I was just like, there was just some choices that I had that I was like, man, editorial really could have stepped in and helped this book a lot, because there was a story there. But then some choices took the reader away, me out of it, and made it do a whole 180. I don't know. All right, Bat Force Times, what you got?
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I have a different approach to this book, and it's because for starters, I'm gonna level. I asked myself, what's my level of entertainment that I receive from this book? And I was entertained by this book, and I enjoyed this book, and I wanted to finish it and see what the fuck was going on. So it's kind of, you know what it is? It's sort of, like sometimes there's the movies in history or movies that are made every now and then that's really bad, but you like to watch it and laugh, even though it's bad, So, because I like dark, spooky, monstrous shit, and I really like the art. When it was good, it's all over the place. It's a fucking mess, the book, and I think it's supposed to be a mess. Yeah, it doesn't know what it wants to do. We start off with the boxer and the fighter, and which was kind of unnecessary, and then you're going into investigating what's going on with the rogues, and then the rest of it is you're in a sewer trying to fight this alien monster, and you're ejecting Russians from your Batmobile. It's just, so it's just all over the place. And I don't know if some of these British guys, they like that ridiculousness. That dry humor and the ridiculousness of it. Some of these panels with the Batmobile for me were so cool, like the lights and the functions of the Batmobile, and the AI aspect of the Batmobile and the capabilities and how he used it to bait what's his name, and I really I like stuff like that, little details here and there. So if I were to gauge it from my entertainment, I would gauge it fairly well. But if I wanted to be objective, it really wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't be too high, because it's just it's a fever dream, is what it is. So I'd have to meet in the middle. I'd have to balance it out, and I think 3 out of 5 Louis is fair for the bat, and I think that could even be a little biased because I like this.
I want to know what your
nonsense.
rating would be without that one splash page of Volkov getting ejected out of the Batmobile. Take away that one page.
Oh man, that's like that's like
One.
2 points right there, man. This shit is fucking so good. Like when he drew, it's just so good. And how's he screaming? You know, if you read his scream, it's I. it's not R. It's I. That's the scream. So that's just hilarious. So there's such the humor in this, the subtle humor is just ridiculous too. Like the text messaging is really funny and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I was very entertained by it. I think sometimes you can't take things too serious. You just have to enjoy the ride for what it's worth. But objectively, it's just nuts. So yeah, I think 3 out of 5 is very fair for this book. I mean, I think it's yeah, you're right. It's fun to think about a Killer Croc background story, which is, you know, cool to touch up on, and you kind of
That's
get
what I thought this book was going to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. You know, because I can't remember of any reading anything like that, and I thought that this was going to explore that and kind of really be his Black Label focused book, which would be really cool. But it was not that. But yeah, great points.
And like I said, if you read Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, and then read this book, it flows very well. It's just, it's a fever dream. And there's other books like Arkham Asylum, Living Hell, I think it is, that kind of flows like that. And a couple of other ones. Hell, even Full Moon could kind of flow in the same way. That was kind of
that was a crazy book.
That was a crazy book as well. That was more cohesive, I would say, linear, but you know, still crazy. So, yeah, for me, I don't know, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I just some of these panels, like when he's in the Batmobile, and I don't know, it just has that. It kind of conveys motion. I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like when he's in the Batcave with Alfred and he's sitting in front of that high-tech that computer panel with that high-tech seat he has, and you can see it illuminating in front of him and stuff like that. You know, I always really appreciate the little things.
Right.
So, would I recommend it to anyone? I guess if you do acid, probably. You know? But yeah, it's definitely a dark one for the books. Like I said, it's very Morrison, Alan Moore-esque. So yeah, that's it's an interesting ride, that's for sure. So
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our review here of Batman Reptilian.
Yep.
Appreciate if you're with us this far. If you've watched this to this point and you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, we'd also appreciate if you would do that. We've got some more reviews coming. We've got some guests coming.
Yes, we do.
Lots of things to look forward for season 11. So, all right. Until next time.